I've done my project on privacy rights in China. My name is Ashley Nessis, and I'm a mass communication major and political science minor. So, my first slide, how the state has access to all your personal information. So, whether it's through WeChat, iCloud, or the new online social credit system that is actually not implemented until 2020, the government is tracking your every move. They're collecting all of your personal data. So, if you don't know what WeChat is, it is a super app used in China. So, if you were to use multiple apps in the US like PayPal, Facebook, Google, that would actually all be in WeChat and more. And iCloud, obviously, if you have an iPhone, you're saving your data to iCloud. So it's all of your personal information. And then the online social credit system is a system that restricts unworthy citizens from traveling, say, if you were to disobey them in any sort of way. How the state has access to your information through WeChat. So China does not have all these apps, obviously, like PayPal, YouTube, Facebook. They're all of these apps and more combined. This allows an abundance of personal information to be received and collected by Tencent. WeChat is owned by Tencent, and it's a huge internet giant that has all of your information because that is the one app everyone in China uses, WeChat. The Chinese government is allowed to tap into Tencent's vast amount of information so they can hunt down criminal suspects. I believe that they're tapping into Tencent's vast amount of information for more than just that reason. But Tencent has still refused to say that they're actually giving away your information to the Chinese government. But WeChat users have been arrested over what they've said on the app. Conversations have turned up as evidence in court proceedings, and activists have reported being followed based on WeChat conversations. So clearly, if someone is being arrested over something they've written privately in text, there's obviously monitoring going on through Tencent and through the Chinese government. So they also collect your information through iCloud. Obviously, Apple has a privacy policy that they don't release your information with anyone else. But now that iCloud operations now reside in China, these restrictions are way different. Now it's owned by the government of Gansu province instead of the US. Um, Apple believes privacy is a very important human right, as what I just said, but clearly China does not have that same belief. Um, Now that Apple and GCBD work together, all of the information that gets saved to iCloud is now being saved with both negating Apple's normal privacy policies. This means that your personal information is being shared with the Chinese government as well. The only benefit this apparently has is that it will allow Apple to improve the speed and reliability of their iCloud services while also complying with newly passed regulations that cloud services be operated by Chinese companies. But anything the Chinese government really says never really benefits the citizens of China. It's always kind of is an advantage to the state. So I really think there's no benefit in this whatsoever. Lastly, the state is also accessing your information through the new online social credit system. As I said in the beginning, this is not implemented until 2020. The Chinese government will rate its citizens on whether they're following the rules or not. So the state will track and monitor you through this new credit system. If you disobey the system, you will disobey the state, and the government will restrict you from any forms of traveling. An example of disobeying the state would actually be playing too much video games or uh, bad driving, jaywalking, smoking in non smoking zones. So, something that you'd be arrested for in China would have no effect on you if you were anywhere else, say the US. This will be a mandatory system, meaning that it is also mandatory for the state to monitor your every move, to collect all of your data. Also, this is mandatory, and basically, in a way, WeChat is mandatory as well. There's no other way to go about your life and pay for things without using WeChat. So, technically, they're both mandatory. The state has access to your personal information through these internet giants like Tencent, Apple. But why? By collecting your personal information, these apps know where you're going or what you're buying. This is a huge economic advantage for both these internet giants and for the state to grow. Uh, the Chinese government must know whether it's through your text, through any sort of calls, through what you're looking up on the internet, that you're still obeying them. They need to know what you're doing every second of the day, or it's not okay for them. China has always and will always be an authoritarian state. The Chinese government must have access to whatever the civilians are doing, whether this means obviously prying on the lives of their civilians, which they're happily ready to do.